Hello, and thank you for joining me for this What's New. Relates to the Q2 Release 1 release that we published on the 14th of May. We've got some pretty key features that we're introducing in this release. A couple of little bug fixes that we'll go through as well, but without further ado, let's dive in and have a look at what's included. So, first of all, we made some improvements to the access group descriptions just to make them more user-friendly. We'll have a quick look at that. Quite importantly, certainly for overseas customers and resellers, we've now got the Sophia descriptions translated in the reports, the individual reports, self-assessed and validated. The auto-reporting and the reassignment of assessors, we've tied it up. Sometimes that didn't trigger, and the reassignment sometimes left a little echo of the previous assignment, so we've got all that cleared up now. Very key feature that plays out in the actual planner console, the ability to add predefined interventions. Currently that's at the provider level, so for resellers they can add interventions that everyone in that partition will be able to see, and for individual clients that have their own partition they can add their own predefined interventions. In the very near future, we'll open that up to third party and make that available via controls in the admin console so that third party interventions can be made available in the planner. So a small feature, but a very key feature in the planner console, we've got the ability to take a copy of the validation profile as a version of the self-assessed. So where the self-assess is a little bit out of kilter, we've got the option there to create a new version based on validation and use that as the baseline to make changes against as skills are required. The action plan within the planner console that was sat there saying coming soon is now actually here. We'll have a look at that in detail. And last but not least, we have the ability for any report in the system to be generated as PDF. It's a system-wide setting that, so at some point we'll pick a time and we'll flick the validation report at least to be a PDF version rather than Word. Okay, so let's have a look at the access groups, see what that looks like. Okay, we just really basically changed the wording here, so you can see we've also included an indication of what permissions are available. So we've got super admin with the ability to create new customers and users, standard admin, everything except users, power user, do everything within an assessment, and the reporting user that can just basically generate reports and track survey progress. Deactivated obviously what it says, and participant is just one that we use in the background. We'll hide that eventually, but currently it says obviously do not assign here. Okay, so we'll have a look at the sample of a translated report. As you can see, and for those that speak Spanish, that's Sophia descriptions in Spanish. I ran this in a normal template, so it's still got the English headings, but certainly for overseas organizations who in majority of cases speak Spanish, they'll use their own template with Spanish headings, etc. And that goes for all the languages that Sophia has been translated into. It's determined by what the user selected when they completed their survey. So now if they complete their survey in Spanish, for example, their report could be in Spanish. So pretty useful feature for the ongoing use of the translated material. Okay, let's switch across into the actual console. We'll have a look at one of the features that I described. So one of the features is the ability to predefine interventions. So I've logged in here, I'm in the home page, I've got the normal assessments, customers, users, and this additional tab called interventions. It works very simply. If I just scroll down, you see further down the page, I've got an input panel here, so I can give it a name, determine what type of intervention it is, put some descriptive data in there. indicate the duration of this intervention in days, a URL link. So if this is, maybe even on the intranet or even an external course, we can put a link so that the employees can go and have a look in more detail. Just an indicator currently in terms of whether it's been validated. In most cases, this will be set to false, but we'll put some more rigor around that so that only truly validated courses can be set to true. In future, certainly when we open it up to third party, that will be a prerequisite, and then some dates in terms of when this intervention goes live, when it will be retired, etc., particularly if it was a training course. Down here we just indicate the skills and the levels that this particular intervention will address. Another feature that we built in while we were doing this, we've got the option here. If I click on the magnifying glass, it's actually going to show me all the interactions that's been had with that intervention information, so I can see whether people are looking at more information or whether they've clicked the link. Again, if we're using third-party interventions, this will be particularly useful for tracking activity. Okay, so let's see how that manifests itself over in the planner. So we'll switch across to the planner. This will be familiar to those people that have been here before. So first thing, one of the features I mentioned is the ability to take a copy of the validated profile. You can see here the button, and it will basically just create a new version of my self-assessed profile. However, the main changes that we've made here is over here on the left-hand side under the action plan item. So we'll click on that. Okay, first thing to point out, I'll give you a whistle-stop tour of this. There's a lot of functionality here, and this is just a what's new, not an enablement session. So left-hand side, we've got the skill gap panel. I've got the ability to focus in various gaps. Currently, I'm looking at my validated profile, and I'm looking at my current job, which is project manager. So down here, what I'm seeing are the gaps that relate to my validated profile and what's required in my current job. The little green ticks here is saying that I have a plan, and over here on the right-hand side is the details of the plan. If I click on the zoom in button, it actually goes over to the right and is now indicating the action that's addressing that particular skill gap. The ones obviously with the green cross, the red cross, are indicating that I haven't got anything planned to address that particular gap. So an absolutely wonderful piece of functionality for having those meaningful discussions around career planning, huge implications around retention rates, staff morale. Obviously, this is a very empowering piece of functionality with a high degree of transparency. Makes a very big difference in today's digital market. I can switch this, as you probably would imagine. So if I just flick over and say, show me validated against future, there's now quite a few more gaps appear for different types of skills that are needed. And in the same way, I can zoom in and focus, and over here on the right-hand side, I can create bespoke actions, give it a name, what type of action it is. We've got a few predefined in there, add a comment, target completion date, how long it's going to take, a link if necessary to an intranet page, for example, and then the skills that I'm actioning. So if I click here, it'll highlight the skill, and I have the option to say, yes, I am definitely going to address that skill with this action. Okay, predefined interventions, we saw that over in the admin console. Let's look at it over here. So these are the list of predefined interventions within this partition. The little star is indicating that we mark this. So this is just demo data, is saying that it's validated. So higher ranking than the others, because clearly a validated intervention is better than one that isn't, as far as being assured it will deliver the appropriate content to address the skills that are listed. Same sort of capability here. So you can see I've got a a varying degree of actions here, from training courses to secondments, etc. But if I hit the Zoom button, it's now highlighted that this project secondment would actually help me address project management level 6. So if there's a long list of interventions there, this is just a very quick way of it finding the interventions that will help address the skill gap. Same logic here. If I want to add that, I've actually already got this one, but I'd click here, add a comment at a target date, and basically just click the add button and it would add it to my action plan. As we saw as well, we've got the ability to dive and look at more detail. So I've got a little bit of extra information here. And if any of these are linked to an internet page, I can just click straight over and look at that particular training course over on the internet. So there we go, and find out how to book it, etc. So whistle-stop tour of the action plan. No doubt with a little bit of imagination you can see the power of that particular new piece of functionality. So certainly something to be very useful to all the users out there. But for now, we'll leave it at that. I thank you very much for your time and putting up with my slightly croaky voice with hay fever. If there's any questions relating to this release, by all means contact me at paul.collins@skillstx.com. Fantastic. Thank you very much and enjoy the new features.